that we had in our city, and he fled to Oklahoma, and he's on the way back, might be close to back right now, to head to Rockwell County Jail. Very happy about that, yeah. Should have been in the jail.
I'm really mad that his wife was teaching at PTA.
Yeah.
And we found that she was a third grade teacher around my kids across the street.
So back in the investigation, can be good to everyone.
No, we found her name or anything.
Oh. So y'all know that he was apprehended, but one of the things I want to do is I want to show you some of the stuff we went through. I think there's some questions in the community about the timelines and things like that. I just want to go over some of those because we want to show you all what we did and why we did a few of the things that we did. Because not only are we looking for an arrest, we're looking for a conviction later. This is a second-degree felony. He has priors, and priors for not registering. And so we want to get this not just to arrest somebody, but to go all the way through with it. So there's a couple things in here on the timing and stuff that we'll talk about, and then I'll let y'all ask some questions at the end and some things like that. So late Friday night, early Saturday morning, I'm not sure the exact time, I was notified about 10 minutes till 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Received a call that just those gentlemen was apprehended in Mays County, Oklahoma. And so that was good news for me. So I'm kind of going backwards a little bit on this right now, but just to kind of tell you where he was arrested. There was a traffic stop from the Sheriff's Department, and they found out that the outstanding warrant that we put into the national computer, the NCIC computer, and the TCIC computer to get it. So an anonymous tip was sent to us on the 19th via email, whoever that was, maybe somebody here, I don't know, doesn't really matter, but we got a tip that this person was a sex offender living in our city and it wasn't registered. And so we did verify that and sent that to our detectives to do some follow-up. Some social media posts were put out to the community and some flyers, so if this guy's seen to protect, and I understand the protection on that part. And one thing I would ask, and it's not a requirement, but if you let us know first, before then, we might have an opportunity to go grab it. That's okay. Either way, we made it work out, because we like to use the secrecy a little bit to go apprehend somebody. And so those things were done. His pictures were put out there. His name's Stephen Randall Pinnell. He's 5'10", 220-ish, maybe a little more. He has no Texas driver's license, no Texas ID. His last identification was from Arkansas. He drives a silver 2018 Dodge pickup, Texas license plate, Tom David Boy 0331. So, and his trucks, I'm sure, they were down there. He has a relationship, and that's what y'all found. Sandra Pinnell. And there's a couple last names that we found also, but at the moment she's not, we might look at her a little more for whatever, but she wasn't necessarily targeted because we didn't find him here that some of our information that he had actually left the city prior to our notification. This is his address. They did purchase this house 3 years ago, this month, and so that they do own that residence. And a lot of y'all may have already seen that, or some of the things that a lot of us digging around and finding. His last employment was in McCormick and Irving. We contacted McCormick and they were not helpful at all. And so one of the things that in the process that we would have to do there is actually subpoena some of their records. But before that was done, and we also knew that by this time we were contacting them because we were looking to see if he got transferred. Did he, what's the deal with his employment? But we found that he was in Oklahoma. So the investigation led us to a search, and one of the things that I say that we felt like that he was gone September 7th was because he has not hit a license plate reader in Rockwell County since that time. There's several in the county, and they're purchasing more, which is a great thing. It's a great investigative tool to find somebody that known people off warrants or things like that, somebody that we're looking for, a suspect in a vehicle robbery or auto theft, whatever it is. These are fantastic. And so we noticed that in September we were getting some hits in Oklahoma. And then it continued into October, and then we found the last one in Rockwell County was the 7th, and we still never did find a new employer through any records. And there was a tip that we received about a U-Haul truck on the street thing he was going to move out in the middle of the night. So our officers investigated that a couple of different times, and when we actually made contact with the people who rented the U-Haul, it was a different address. It was about 3 houses up. And so it was some other people that had rented the U-Haul. So here's our issue. The Texas Sex Offender Registry, when people are convicted of the crime and they're remanded to register, that they have to come to us to register. Now, if we find them, and because there has been a couple that we've located, or the prior agency notifies us, because that's happened a couple times, and then we go make contact, and they come in contact with us and things like that. And so this one that comes out, we all might have seen this already, float around social media, that he was not registered and had lived here for quite a while. So the question comes up, how does law enforcement, how does our jurisdiction know when somebody comes in? Well, it's very difficult for us because we're now a 30,000 population town. You know, we have a significant amount of rent homes, we have apartments, so it's very difficult for us to know. People have to do this, and that's why they make it a felony. They make it want people to come register because it is a high charge. And so that is the requirement, the onus is on them. Now that doesn't mean that we don't, whenever we get some tips or things like that, we're not going to go out and do our due diligence. There's been, the most recent one, we had a guy in a different neighborhood, the riding car neighborhood, he was living with his brother, and he was trying to not be on the sex offender list, but the prior agency notified us. And so we went out there and he was in an exclusion zone. We have a 2,000 foot exclusion zone, and he was required to leave. And so he left the city. And so we want y'all's help. Anybody that has those tips, we want to know those things, and we will act on those things. And just know that it's very difficult for us to we can't do just criminal history checks on just anybody, on people sitting in this room, because, we have a Fourth Amendment, we have a right to privacy, we have a right to unlawful search and seizure, and so, these people have kind of given up that, but we have to have a reasonable suspicion to do that. And so that's one of the things that makes it difficult for us. So, did we have officers watching the house? There were some things out on Facebook that why didn't officers go watch the house? Well, we did watch the house. We did a couple of things. Our detectives went by there frequently to try to make contact. There was no contact made, even with the wife that we think is still living there. But we did watch the house quite a bit, and we also used some electronic the license plate reader that monitors it 24/7. So we can put a license plate in our license plate reader, and anytime that hits, anywhere that anybody that has cameras across the United States is willing to share that data, it'll pop up. And so that's how we make some of the Oklahoma hits and things like that. And so we have a monitor out there 24 hours a day, for that. And plus, he was, you know, the warrant that was out there was, if any officer ran, he would find out that as well. And to talk about our fleet, to know what our visibility, you know, this is our regular patrol fleet. They're very recognizable, you know, large spread of reflective striping on them and things like that. Very, very easy to see, especially even at night because it is reflective. But we have some that are a little less known. Two of them are sitting out here. They're a little less recognizable. So these are a little less recognizable. This is mostly our admin staff drives these, and one of our guys that's really good at some of our narcotics investigations and stuff. Probably one of the ones that y'all saw at the grand jury. And then we have our least recognizable fleet. We have a couple Nissan Rogues. We have just a plain black pickup and things like that you might not notice that sitting next door to you that that's a detective sitting in that car or something. Do what?
He sits on the service road all the time, right?
Oh, yes. So we have a gray one and a silver one.
Those people try to run us over, coming out of the
So we have a silver Durango and a gray Durango, and now we have a dark charcoal Durango that actually hasn't hit the street yet. Probably next week or so. It's transporting our cruiser right now. And so sometimes for every marked unit that's out there, there's probably an unmarked unit out there as well. You know, not 100% that ratio, but we do have an unmarked fleet with special detectives and our traffic units. These are our traffic units, so that's probably why they're doing that thing.
Well, they go to school sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why we notice, because sometimes people just run us over, or the semi-trucks right there in the school.
Right, yeah, it makes a blind spot, yeah. It's pretty terrible. And so that's what the investigation has done in a very quick process through this whole 3 or 4 weeks, you know. And so, you know, there's a lot of things out there that's floating around that I'm seeing that, you know, we didn't care, we didn't have time to do this. You know, we do care. And, you know, our guys work very hard. Our detectives do, our officers do. They respond to, you know, the U-Haul tip we got, they responded right away and went out there and talked to those people. And, you know, we want to be very responsive. We do everything we can because we want a safe community. I live here too. My grandchildren live here as well, you know, and, you know, so we all want a safe town. And to say that we're not responsive and that we're too busy, we're never too busy. We like to do law enforcement. That's why we do it. We pick people that want to do the work. And so you know, please know that there are guys who work hard out there, and we do want to catch the bad guys, you know, when they're around and things like that. We got a lot of cases that go to court, you know, and so those are some of the things. There's a situation out there or a comment out there that's like, I didn't do anything until the mayor told me to, or that we weren't doing these things. Well, that's not a fact. That's not true. In fact, the mayor hasn't even talked about. I've been trying to get a hold of him actually to come to a write-up with officers.
Well, I think it doesn't help that former Mayor Billings keeps telling everybody we've never had anybody. It's been over 10 years. And so that gets all of us arguing in favor.
We haven't had any sex offenders?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we've had a few.
And we have. We've gone to the 2000 budgets and worried about it. That is what he's arguing that we've never had anybody.
Yeah, we have a guy, most of these, except for one, most of these are not our cases of people who move here later. We do have one case that we actually filed a case and got a conviction of, and because of where he lives, he has to move. And so that's in the process now. His house is up for sale, and he's leaving and things like that. So I want y'all to feel better about our community, and that y'all can call us and ask us questions, feel safe and to know that we do live in a safe community. So now, I want to take any questions that y'all may have.
Can I just ask you, Chief, before you move off,
Absolutely.
you said on the 19th, you got an anonymous tip.
That's correct.
And I believe you got the same thing the neighbor got in the mail.
I did.
So you got 6 documents,
Correct.
including a bench warrant for his arrest from Arkansas.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure, like just a phone call, you got those same 6 things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you read it all of us?
No, so we had several tips. There was
But the
the,
neighbor had the courage to post it, so
Yeah.
rather than chasing off, I mean, he's been living here 3 years.
Right.
But how come our license plate things didn't go off with this arrest warrant from Arkansas?
because he's already been convicted of that and out, he's been adjudicated from that offense.
This wasn't his sexual offense, this was his
Right,
refusal
'cause
to register.
He failed to register 2 other times before this one.
And will he be forced to register, or is it still the voluntary?
So right now, when he gets adjudicated from this, and someday he get out of jail, then in Texas, he will be told, you need to go register where you go to live, and he will have to go register.
So they won't register jail?
No, because they don't.
Sex offenders that are lifetime registered.
The state doesn't really do it, the jurisdiction does.
That's a
How do
shame.
you go about getting like a nationwide registry that crosses all the state borders?
So there is a nationwide one, and even the state of Texas on their deal says this is not 100% accurate. You know, because it's always updating and different things like that. And so there is a national database, and I've only been on it once. I don't know even who manages that. I'm not sure.
Are you talking about Williams Law?
I'm sorry.
Are you talking about Williams Law?
No, there's another database out there that tries to track these folks, and so I don't know who it's managed through, or if they just grab data that's floating on the web, or which state, I'm not really sure.
You're just worried about Texas.
Yeah, well, yes, here. And you know, it is a statewide deal, and a lot of the stuff that we do push out to the rest of the state. You know, like our license plate reader cameras, we share with everybody. Whenever we put a warrant out, it goes statewide, and in fact, this one went nationwide. You know, and so there's a lot of, we try to be more global, because this is a small territory, but how easy it is to travel around in metroplex. It's super easy, you know, and so, and it's very difficult for people, you know, what's happening in McKinney to a person drive here, you know, and so that's why we try to share a lot of information
Well,
with
that's
the
what I was
people.
kind of thinking, like, if there was some program, we have all these AI databases now, why can't they not just connect the databases together? You know, put it in.
You know, and that's a great point, and so we have, our state has some things to fix,
Okay.
and maybe that's one of those things through the,
Petitioning and.
you know,
Well, I think
and-
the easiest thing, you know, you think, okay, well, he's lived here for 3 years, he's obviously paying taxes.
He's been-
So why is there not some kind of, where when there are registered sex offenders, that when their name pops up in a county for taxes, that it cross-checks and says, oh, wait a second, this person just bought a house, or they, you know, I know you can't, at first I was thinking title, but you can't, because it's fair housing, they can't prohibit someone from buying a house just because of
Right.
who they are. However, the county that's collecting taxes on them seems like, oh, you're in our county, you know, you're
You know,
living here.
that very well possibly could be a method, but now what about rent houses? And on this one, yeah, that could be.
Right, this one I felt like, you know, it's easy to slip through the cracks when you're renting or you're just living with a friend or a family member. It's very easy, but to purchase a home seems just
Right
kind
next to
of
school that's already there.
crazy that there wasn't 3 years go by and it's not.
Right, and this guy was actually friends with some neighbors, you know, and you know, some folks that we talked with, you know, and that they didn't suspect anything. Yes, ma'am?
So are you saying once he's out or adjudicated that he gets to live back in New York?
because that's closer than 2,000 foot to a school. And so that zone there shouldn't have happened anyway.
So he has to, he has to. People be.
Well, he's probably gonna be in a state facility for a while. But, well, see, he's got a cow barn as well. Because he's gonna have, it's probably gonna be a barn.
How does that get through a system when somebody parks in the house? If I was a martyr that would release, if I parked in the house, I would think people would know my name would come up and just be good.
Right, like if you were wanted,
Yes.
how can you go buy a house, you know?
That's how that is what the person is wanting to register.
Right. Well, our Fourth Amendment prohibits us from unlawful search and seizure.
My comment that you were saying is, between the counties, and because I was telling earlier, I served on a grand jury for 6 months last year. One other thing I found out is not each of the counties talk to each other. They may have a different database, and of course, we are Rockwall County. Maybe they do talk to Collin County because it's a little closer, but they don't talk to Dallas County. And unfortunately, some of those come out. It's like when I was on the jury, it was, okay, the stuff that was coming out of Dallas County, they weren't telling Rockwall County of all these criminals that are here, and then you have all these problems. So when you have these databases that don't talk, you have people that are homeowners that are buying, they're not doing a national background check, which I think they should, but because it would have been able to be caught right then and there.
So those might be some lobby things that maybe Austin needs to hear.
But they can, from a tax standpoint, you know.
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say that we've got a couple of people on our block that they have co-signers on their house. So there's two different people. There's somebody who lives in the house that lives there, and they have a co-signer that doesn't live in the house. So I guess, according to when I read the ordinance says they have to be there for 14 consecutive days, and that's provable. If they stay somewhere else, any of that, so you have to document a second that you become aware of it for 14 days. If I'm reading this,
So our ordinance is correct, 14 days for the ordinance of exclusion zone, 7 days for the state on registry. And so the state says if you plan to move at a certain place, then you have 7 days prior or after you move, you have to register. And so, and there's an exception there for, if the person that's doing the registry is not, they have to schedule, there might be a scheduling situation. But that's still a thing that we need to do. Was there, yes, ma'am?
Yeah, sorry, I understand, so this question may have already been, asked, but is there anything as a community we could do, like, as far as, like, can something like this be added to, like, our HOA bylaws that if you are, is it legal to add something to HOA bylaws, like if you purchase a home in this community or if you own a home in this community and there's any type of sexual offense or something like that, you must report that or register. You know what I mean? Like,
We have an attorney on this. What would you say?
I practice real estate law. I'd say the city of Fayette has a magnificent ordinance that says if, we don't care what adults do, and there are such, but if your victim was under the age of 17, you can't live within 2,000 feet of any where children congregate. And as a result, when you look at, Fayette has like 3,200 residents who have been one sex offender. Not to disparage our neighbor, but Roy City has like less than 200. We are winning the game, but it needs to be legislated. We have it, they has it. But the system, if it's up, this guy's now arrested and he can't be forced to fill the darn registration in, and he committed his offense 22 years ago, that's the problem.
same with the ladies that we had to all down to City Hall.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, she was in Virginia, her offense was over 20 years ago with this fact. My thing
But
is,
she registered, at least there was, she
She did. I said, my business, I look at people who have these type of offenses and I think to myself, if you know that you are this type, you have this sort of offense, why, what is your motive to live within 2 seconds of a park or 2 seconds of a school?
Because they're never.
Because this is what you're looking to.
That makes you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can move here, you can, yeah, there's so many places you can move that are far away from the schools and parks, but you choose to live directly.
On your comments about HOA rules or about, maybe state laws or whatever, I think you had said something about, the fair housing, the Fair Housing Act, that you can't necessarily prevent somebody from purchasing or buying. Now, our ordinance tries to make sure that you're not in a certain zone, which has been tested twice in the courts, to say that this 2,000 foot is acceptable. And so, that's mental health. But, those are things that it's very difficult to say, you can't own a home. You can't ever own a home.
Right.
And, so those kind of things apply. Yes?
Just out of curiosity, why is it that somebody's going to sell the movies out in one probation and to report once a month to make sure they're on the right track? But we're trusting them not pedophile to register when they're supposed to. I can go out there and commit a horrible crime, get out, and they're going to follow me for 3 or 4 years, and they can't change it. They make sure that I'm held accountable for the crime that I committed, even after I get out. But we're going to release a pedophile or a guy that haven't taken marijuana and driving in the last week.
Maybe they did at first, didn't they?
Well, so there's various levels of these folks. There could be probation, but there's also on their registry, if they register, which is our problem. If they register, there's some that have to do it monthly. There's different degrees of their offerings and how severe. There's some that only do annually, and so and then there's some that only have to do it for a certain time period. Like we have a person in our city that did their 10-year commitment and is released off that list.
But that's never applicable if your victim is a minor.
On the state website, there's various things.
How do we get it so that when these people get out of jail, they have to, I feel like they have to sign something right then and get on the national database. You've got to be nationally registered so that it travels everywhere.
You're sitting at the from now on, where is monitor I ran for the rest of your life? Sorry.
Those are things we need to get our You're right. There's probation laws are tough. And so that's.
You gotta start with your legislation, you gotta start with your realtors, you gotta start with the mortgage lenders, the title companies. I mean, if you're gonna go purchase a home, make sure that they, like you do for a job, you fill out an application, are you a sex offender, are you this? And then they need to be doing their due diligence. All of your gives the Code of Criminal Procedure, Chapter 62, for the state laws. And then there's also our city ordinance. And there's a map also to show the exclusion zones. So on our website, we share the Texas site, but we also have our ordinance on there for the exclusion zone that they can't reside in. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to give us a call.
Chief, since we are blessed to have so few of these pedophiles in the city of Faith, you mentioned the riding club, gentleman, or man, I guess would be a more appropriate way to describe it. And I was told he was homeless, and I thought, you don't leave your $450,000 home in Riding Club Estates to live on the street. And it's a 70-year-old man who had a 7-year-old victim. So that's just one.
So he was living with his brother.
Will be two. Will you extra patrol just those two houses? Because I bet my house that guy comes back there.
Well,
Where else is he gonna go?
and we definitely have to watch because when he comes out on bond, and, you know, because he will probably have a right to bond. And so before he gets to trial, which who knows how long that will be, you know,
Not long if can't hold it.
hopefully, yeah. So, I'm sure he's probably, but,
Can't be, so, so maybe they have a personal home or anything like that. Can individuals that house a sex offender and know about it, can they get in trouble as well? Okay.
Like that brother, yeah, right, he lets his brother come and go, or the wife walking to church now.
Is that how it's like?
Well, and it's open.
Yeah, there was someone else.
Yeah, but it's always about
yeah, well, I'm gonna have the detectives look at that. So far, we haven't made contact with her yet. She probably had from us right now, too.
Neighbors will help because they told me, I did not hear. My kids are alone, but.
Is there anything that the city of Maine, like for instance, when people are registering for water, when they're getting home, can add some sort of question to their, like, hey, like, even if it's like a disclaimer, like, no, if you are a registered sex offender, or if you're housing someone that is a registered sex offender, before you can turn your water on, this individual must register.
We're open to all kinds of ideas. We will note some of these things and see what, we'll have some roundtables and probably even with our neighboring chiefs to sit down and go, what can we do together to make a safe county?
Because there's gotta be some way that we can let people understand. Wapak County in general, my husband and I joke all the time, like, if you're gonna spend time, don't do Wapak County because they're gonna catch you, right? So there's gotta be some sort of way that we can.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, sometimes it's serious about it. If no other county can catch you, Wapak County can catch you. So, there's gotta be some sort of way we can market ourselves as a zero tolerance. We're one of the safest cities, you know what I mean? So there gotta be some sort of way we can market ourselves as a zero tolerance
Yep.
city. You know?
Yep, we keep putting them in jail, maybe that word will get out, but I'm definitely gonna push for a roundtable with the chiefs and the sheriff to discuss this.
Make him register, they cannot make this anymore. So for 22 years, he's not registered.
Well, he didn't register in Arkansas after one of his convictions, so,
But he used a false address.
yeah.
His case is always free choice. No, we cannot now make him, you cannot make him register. Now that he's.
I don't know what the court will do, I don't know what their power is.
Does he
Especially with two or three.
It's not going to do it correctly.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's, he might be correction.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good Yeah. Did you have a question?
I was just wondering how many convictions he has.
So he has the conviction for the offense, for the original offense. And then he's had 2 prior to that, convictions of not registering.
Okay. Right. But one is for sex,
Yes,
and then 2 for non-registered,
yes.
but nothing else.
No.
But the one really is all wrong. It was just one time. Yeah.
Oh, the child. Right. And the board.
last conversation.
That's the only time we signed on a license plate we received. That's our solution. He just didn't get a license plate, which is possible, but there's one, like, right up on the highway. He's doing one of their, because that time when they're gonna she won't answer the phone, she won't answer the door, she's home, we don't know if she's here. Well, and you know, that's another great point, that we have to watch our kids. We have to watch our grandkids. We have to, you know, because here's one thing about the guys that have been convicted and the guys that are arrested. What about the guys that are just now convicted? Or, right, haven't been caught? You know, so we have to watch our children. That's what I'm saying. It's really shocking. Thank you. Hey, respectfully,